Hello everyone, welcome to Desker's YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be talking about sprint retrospectives. Retrospective means looking back. It's time to contemplate on what has happened. In software engineering, sprint retrospectives forms an integral part of software development process. Its origins can actually be traced back to the principles of the Agile Manifesto, which states the following. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. So what is a sprint retrospective meeting? A sprint retrospective meeting is an opportunity for the team to come together and reflect on what has happened in the past few weeks. It helps assess the overall health of the team and figure out how well it's been working together as a cohesive unit. The goal is to get a better understanding of the following questions. Number one, what went well? You look at how you did working on your task individually and with other teammates. What did you like about this experience? For example, did you get stuck somewhere and was the teammate able to help you get unstuck again and complete your work on time? Number two, what didn't go well? Was there anything that happened during the sprint that made your life difficult? For example, did the requirements change while you were working on the ticket? Or was the information on the ticket not complete? Were you blocked because you were waiting for someone to complete something else? Number three, how can we improve? Is there any way we can improve and fix the things that didn't go well? For example, should the tickets be broken down into smaller chunks? Is the back end and the front end tickets being worked on by different people? Should they work together so that one is not left waiting for the other to complete the work? Overall, you will realize that it's not always as simple as putting the questions together and looking at the answers. Gathering feedback is actually an art. You have to be aware of the internal dynamics of the team. For example, some people might be shy in a group setting. You might need some icebreakers to get them comfortable enough to share their views. Group thinking might override common sense. And there might be some strong voices in the group that dominate the conversation and discourage everyone to share their opinion. There are different formats that you can use for sprint retrospectives. We wrote a blog on 23 different formats. You can check it out in the link in the description. They actually help you discover what people really want and bring out a positive change. You can try all of them or some of them, see which one works better for your team and stick to it. So why are sprint retrospective important? We've spoken a little about it, but let's dig a little bit deeper. It is only when you learn from the past that you can improve in the future. Otherwise, you'll make no progress. Incremental improvements based on what you learn through your experience leads to measurable outcomes. There are 4 benefits of the sprint retrospective meeting. Number one is transparency. Reviewing with the team how things are going goes a long way in making the team more effective. When everyone is a part of the process and their voices are heard, they're more responsive to change. Everything that happens in the sprint retrospective is discussed in front of the entire team. All the takeaways, all the action items are tracked and are accessible to everyone. Number 2 is teamwork. The team decides together which items need to be fixed first. This helps build a culture of teamwork where everyone is working together to improve the process. You get to hear different points of views of your teammates and how they perceive similar things. In the long run, it will help you get a better understanding of what their personalities are like and help you maintain a healthy working relationship with them, which helps the team. Number 3 is trust. The sprint retrospective focuses on the process, not the person. A sprint retrospective is successful because everyone feels safe to share their views. They believe that their views, however contrary, will not be held against them. And finally, actionable. The goal of the sprint retrospective meeting is to bring about incremental change. In order to do this, action items are listed, ownership of the action items is identified, and delivery dates are put on them so that things don't fall between the cracks. The views shared by everyone might vastly differ, but over time what we'll see is themes will emerge. For example, if you constantly keep hearing about requirements getting changed, then you have a problem that needs to be fixed. So who participates in a sprint retrospective meeting? There are obviously the regulars, your product manager, engineering managers, scrum masters, developers, QAs, DevOps, software architects, everybody who had worked on the product update. Besides the regulars, sprint retrospective often have guest appearances. It could be anyone from the company who's invested in the project, designers, data analysts, and marketing managers. They are able to provide a unique perspective to the team. Who runs the sprint retrospective? The product manager and the engineering manager often run the retro meetings. Once the team has settled into a comfortable cadence and is familiar on how to run them, the baton of leading the sprint retro can be passed to different people in the team. There are a number of advantages of doing that. It gets people more comfortable and they start becoming more active in the group setting. Once you lead one of these sessions, you tend to be more invested in its success. So what happens in a sprint retrospective meetings? The team gets together on a regular cadence to discuss how things are going. It's a good idea to start a retro with an icebreaker question, especially if the team is new and the members don't know each other that well. It helps everyone to feel a little bit more comfortable. This is followed by each member answering all the questions we discussed earlier. What went well, what didn't go well, how can we improve? This is an individual exercise where they take some time to jot down their answers. The second part of it is that all the answers are collected. The group looks together at all the answers as a team. You might see certain common things emerge and similar answers are grouped together. The third part of the sprint retrospective meeting is voting. The team needs to figure out which items need to be tackled first. This is done through voting, which is the quantitative exercise. The items with the most number of votes get to be worked on first. You also have a qualitative discussion about all these items to figure out what the team really needs to work on. And finally, action items are assigned with due dates and tracked for completion. How often do you need to have sprint retrospective meetings? There is no right or wrong answers for this. Each team needs to find out what works for them. It is common for teams to meet at the end of each sprint, but if you're a company which has very, very short sprints, then it might not be a good idea. Start with a frequency which you think will work. Over time, you'll be able to figure out if it's too much or too less. Two possible scenarios might occur. Number one, your team meets and struggles to go through all the topic in the given amount of time. One of the reasons could be that a lot of things pile up because you're not meeting often enough. In this scenario, increase your frequency of meeting. The second scenario is your team meets and you don't have enough things to discuss. In this case, reduce the frequency of your meeting. What are some of the common types of sprint retrospective meetings? There are a lot of different types of retrospective meetings. The goal is the same, to find out how the team can improve. Some of the common ones are 4L, sales vote, match at glad, one vote retro, speed cast, starfish, calm, darky, three little pigs, original 4, lean coffee. I can go on and on. We identified 23 different formats that you can look at and figure out which one works best for your team. The final thing we want to discuss is the sprint retrospective working for you? Have you ever heard the phrase meeting to discuss another meeting? Might sound like a waste of time, but it's important to find out whether the retro is working for you or not. It does not mean that the entire team or group needs to meet. A few members can get together to find out the answers to the following question to gauge whether the retrospective is effective or not. Is everyone participating in the meeting? Are some people louder than the others and dominating the discussion? Are action items being completed or are they just piling up? What does the body language of each team member look like during these meetings? Do they look or sound excited, bored, indifferent? Does it seem like the meeting is dragging forever and doesn't seem to end? Do you feel like the atmosphere in the meeting allows everybody to give their honest feedback without fear of retribution? You have to get both the qualitative and quantitative feedback from the team when looking for these answers. It doesn't have to be a formal survey. You can just go and talk to people and find out what they're thinking. Do this at regular intervals. Think of it as a retro for your retro. Doing retro for your retro meetings will help you improve it and make it more effective in the long term. I hope this video helped you get a better understanding of sprint retrospective meeting and clear any doubts you had if you've already been doing this meeting. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, do let us know, and on the way out, do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.